Hello guys, my name is Prince and this is Math Center. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. Post your comments and questions on my social media handles and I'll respond to it. We are on the topic change of subjects. This is the first video on change of subjects. What are the objectives that we look forward to achieving at the end of this topic? At the end of this topic, you should be able to make a variable the subject in an equation, and you should be able to substitute known values into a formula. These are our main objectives for this topic. Let's learn more about change of subjects. Let's consider these formulas or equations. The first one is E is equal to mc squared, and the second one is A is equal to pi r squared. Let's concentrate on the first one for now. We can see in this equation that E is on the left hand side with no variable attached to it. That is, E is alone. On the right hand side, we have m and c squared. Because E is alone with no variable attached to it, E is said to be the subject of the equation. In the second equation, we can see that A is on the left hand side alone with no variable attached to it, but on the right hand side r squared has pi attached to it. Now, because A is on the left hand side alone with no variable attached to it, A is said to be the subject of the equation. Now, what is change of subject? What change of subject means is that we can rearrange these formulas. We can rearrange them such that in the first case, M becomes the subject instead of E. So we will rearrange it such that M will become the subject instead of E. Now that's what we are talking about. You can see that in this new equation here, M is now on the left hand side with no variable attached to it. But when you go to the right hand side, it is E over C squared. So clearly from here, we have changed the subject from E to M. That is what we mean by change of subjects. We have changed the variable that was on the left hand side with no variable attached to it. We have changed it from E to M. So we have changed the subject from E to M. In the same way, you can also change the subject from M to C. We are just considering M as an example for now. In the same way, in the second example, we can change the subject from A to R. If you change the subject from A to R, we are going to get R is equal to square root of A over pi. Don't worry if you don't know how to do this. That is what we are going to do in this series of videos. So here too, we've changed the subject from A to R. Now when we do this, we say that we have changed the subject of the formula or the equation. I hope you understand the concept of change of subjects for now. Now let's move on. To change the subject of an equation, make sure that the terms containing the new subject are on the one side of the equation and the other terms are on the other side of the equation. So to change the subject of an equation, you have to make sure that all the terms containing the new subject are on one side and the other terms are also on the other side. Now, what do we mean by a term? In the video on Introduction to Algebraic Expressions, we explain what a term is. I'm going to explain it again in these videos, but if you want an in-depth understanding of it, go and watch the video on Introduction to Algebraic Expression and you understand what a term is. So in order to change the subject of an equation, what you need to do is that make sure that you group all the terms that have the new subject on one side, either the left or the right. Then you group the other terms on the other side. The principles involved in changing the subject of an equation or formula is similar to the principles used in solving linear equation. What this statement means is that how we are going to change the subject of a formula or an equation is similar to the way we were solving linear equations. So we are going to do it in a similar way, almost the same way. So if you want to really understand change of subjects, I suggest that you watch the videos on solving linear equations. We are going to change the subject of a formula or equation the same way as we were solving linear equations. So if you watch those videos, you are going to understand change of subject very, very well. So I recommend that you watch the video on introduction to algebraic expressions. You also watch the video on linear equations and make sure that you understand them before you watch these videos on change of subjects. Sometimes after changing the subject of a formula, you may be asked to substitute known values of the variables into the new formula. Now this is what this means. You can see that in this case, we change the subject from E to M. Sometimes after changing the subject from E to M, you will be given values for E and C. Then all you need to do is to substitute them into this new formula. So where you see E, you put the new value. Let's say that after changing this subject, they tell us that, let's say, calculate for M when E is equal to 2 and C is equal to 1. All you need to do is to, wherever you see E, you change it and you replace it with 2. Wherever you see C, you change it and you replace it with 1, and you'll be able to find the new value for M. Thank you for watching this video on introduction to change of subjects. See you in the next video where we will begin to learn how to change the subject of an equation. Bye bye.